5 things you would say to every father in terms of sowing. Here it comes. The first thing they mention is embrace the differences. They're talking about between them and their spouse. And also between them and their children. Now, between them and their spouse, if you are married, you know that the person you are married to is absolutely not the same as you are. There's differences. And sometimes people go through life trying to change those differences, and if you keep trying to change the other person, you're going to end up having loads of quarrels. Because those same differences that attracted you, after a while, can be the same differences that you start to resent if you're not careful. What they said is that you embrace the differences. There are things that you do differently. There are things that you see differently. Different doesn't mean wrong. It's when things are different and you can embrace them, you can accept them. It's the same with our children. Not all the children will be the same. And the biggest folly you can commit as a parent is by comparing one child to another. Can't you see your brother? He got 3 A's. Can't you see your brother? He's always first in the class. Never compare your children. They're different, and they're different for a reason, and they're unique. Yes, one might go on to become a wonderful footballer. He might have not been getting A's, but he can still do good things in life. And the other one might go on to become a medical doctor, whatever. But if we embrace the differences, we will see the strengths in those differences and be able to encourage them along those lines. So that was their first thing, embrace the differences. The second was, think of your spouse as you do yourself. Or to put it in Jesus' words, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Now that doesn't always work because, sometimes the things that you would like wouldn't be necessarily the things that your partner would like. I would like someone to do to me, let me do it to the other person. Sometimes even with that, you can still go wrong because you're doing what you would think would be nice, but that person might not necessarily like it. Which is why the real challenge is to get to understand that person. And as a father, that works in every way, even when it comes to our children. Most parents, if you ask them, have you got a favorite child? They'll probably say, oh no, I like all of them equally. Go and ask the children. They'll point out who the favorite is. And most parents will say, no, we're totally the same. And then the kids are looking at that. One of them come back saying, why are you so late? What's wrong with you? Then the next one comes in late. Oh, why are you so late? Okay, I understand. And they're like, what? And the parent doesn't even notice it. And that's where the challenge is. In any relationship, you've got to look at yourself. Where is my blind spot? Oh, let's quickly move on. Not everything will change. Now, I know we don't talk about this often, but there are some parents that bring up children that are disabled, blessings from God. Many of them might be like that throughout their life. It's a challenge. But once we understand that there's certain things that are not going to change, there's certain challenges that are not going to change, we learn how to live with them. And we learn how to get the best out of them. And we thank God we live in a society today where we now realize that children, whether they're disabled or they've got other kinds of disabilities, have a lot of potentials within them. But there are certain things which might look difficult, which are not going to change, but which God can still give us the grace to make the best of our life despite those things. And especially in certain cultures where we all like to celebrate success when everything is, perfect, the children are all perfectly, no health problems and that's what we tend to talk about. What I've noticed over the years is that for those that have children that are either disabled, have got one in disability or another, they just tend to keep quiet about them and no one mentions them. But they have got immense potential. And so even though that situation with them might not change, the potential that God has in their life will still come out and you can nourish it and make their life to be as full as God would want it to be. Amen? The fourth one was be involved in the life of your children. I've mentioned that already. There's so much that you can do with an iPad. You can give a kid an iPad to keep them quiet. But if you're not careful, they're actually forming a relationship with that iPad. So you better take the time, especially when your children are very young. If not, when they grow up, after age. Age is a wonderful thing. When the kids are young, they're always running after their parents, and the parents want to have some space. And then as time goes on and the parents get older and the kids start to grow up, and it's the parents that now want to see the children, and the children are running away because they want some space. So in other words, let's get involved in the lives of not just our children, but members of our family. If you've got elderly parents around, take time with them. I hear it so often, especially when it comes up to when someone's passed away, and you have people come along and say, oh, I wish I'd spent a bit more time with my grandparents. But if your grandparents are here now, spend time with them now. Be involved. And finally, pray together, play together, and work together. Pray together, play together, and work together. Now, if you are doing these things, that is how you can sow into those relationships.